This is a session where we're going to toss some ideas and have some brainstorming. Also criticism would be highly appreciated. So I think right now, like with climate change, we are all in agreement that what is going on at the present is not satisfactory, because not only we have ample evidence that we are deeply affecting all our living conditions, but that thinking that shows the relationship, and we live in a world of a complex relationship. So as the people before me, intersectoriality, transdisciplinarity, interdisciplinarity. Education, as is clear for everybody, is really a building block of the social construction of reality, and we need a new paradigm that has also many people, Gary, for example, was saying this morning, it's not to throw away what is useful, but to make that are effective. So this tooling has to start with our frame of reference, and we need effectively to protect and promote human and environmental capital at any level, the social, cultural, the environmental, the economic, psychological, and spiritual. Unfortunately, the sociology of profession shows us, this is a book of one well-known expert, Abbott, in 88, that the professional, unfortunately, are trained not to be really professional, but to defend their turf, and their training is quite obsolete. As we have progressed tremendously, that's positive, to open education for millions of people, unfortunately, the quality of the education offered is not being congruent. So, with John Dewey, one has to ask themselves if the school system is really at the best of its potentiality, or sometimes if in the school there are too many teachers and too few promoters of learning. If we don't have effective learning, if we don't have the compass, we risk to become like this whale that lost their way and died stranding themselves on a beach. Are we going to do the same because we lost our compass? So we need a effective compass that will show where is the magnetic north. And for us, education has to be more effective and needs some shifting from subject to human-centered learning, from passive to active, to rote memorization that is going on in many countries still, to promoting original and critical thinking, from just information to the development, fostering the development of the whole person, from the academic theoretical to life-centric knowledge, from fragmented to integrated knowledge, from standardized products that are good everywhere in the planet, to the development of the possibility specific of develop resilience, individuality, and creativity. Many of us remember that Gary yesterday was underlying, so I cannibalize his with his consent. The present has a lot of mechanicistic aspects, and the future, what is going to be, is not our power to know, but we anticipate that something would be changing, and some of these probably change, they are applicable. To conserve everything that is still valid, not to throw anything away that is valid and functioning, but also to have education be more people-centered and also person-centered. And also that the ideas and the values that inevitably are in the ideas are being made transparent, and the power line transparent. That's something that Winston, Gary, and I are going to write soon. So this is, of course, we need to be all together in this. Suggest that some debate is not only we're going to have this aim of involving all the stakeholders more and more. It's not a university consortium. It's all the stakeholders, the professional association, but also the people that don't have usually the power of communication on large. So we would like to involve, we have not yet raised the money, but to involve also, not theoretically, but a village without electricity that want not just to learn, but also to exchange and teach us their experience and what we have to go together. So we could have some project that would be open to anybody, and consider that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of effective experience in education all over the world. Those we need to learn and know more and share that kind of practice. So a data base for best practice where people could have access and share. So we could have an action research open to anybody that not only would share the practice, but would give feedback, and people, students and former students, sharing online what is their existing experience on the positive aspect of education that they are today, but also the negative, and how they would improve it, and involve as many stakeholders, students, student union, association, alma mater association, teacher and professor and school or university association, the employer association that usually always say, people come here on the job, but at the university they didn't really learn about the real life, and then we have to retrain them. And also opinion makers and experts, also associations like the Doha Rounds, UNESCO, and etc. Another project is Transparency International, a pilot project making explicit the implicit value and power differentials to create some case studies and create a kit and give it away for free online where any interest person group could make explicit the implicit value and power aspect, power differential that is interested them. In that way, we would have a fantastic research and also a fantastic network of people interested in the same subject. If they're not a super professor, super university, we want them because they are stakeholders. Another project could be to create all together, open to, all the people interested, a compass for the effective facilitator of learning. Because we need to know that sometimes, even without wanting, or even we that care, we can become unwittingly part of the problem instead of the solution. So, to launch just for discussion, this I have created some time ago, the compass of the effective facilitator learning that has ethics, the ethical code of the teacher, the state law and regulation, but instead of the know, to do, and to be, I think to be in relationship with your students and to create a community of learners is the most important. So, for example, for me, is to be, is to know, and then to do. If you just do just with the knowledge, you might risk to be less effective. And also, to be in touch not only with the knowledge base of the student, but who they are as person, their hope, their aspiration, their fears. But in order to be in touch with the others, I need to be in touch with myself. How many of our professors that we have known from elementary school to university would have been much better if they were in contact with themselves? And the one that they were really in contact, they were also not only contactful, they were also wise, because they were not just teaching a subject matter, but a way to be. So, but of course we need to know and act on our knowledge. So the sociology of knowledge, I think, is very important. The word about ethics, value, epistemology, hermeneutics, and all of this, of the pedagogic approach we use. It's impossible to teach without having assumptions. Sometimes we have unconscious and not aware. Another is what I was asking to the distinguished exponent of the previous panel. How are we going to create some courses for facilitator change? Who's going to do the job? It's not going to come out from the sky, and so why don't we start involving as part of the foundation, anybody willing to share some resources, a pilot course for facilitator change? Why don't we have a new paradigm training workshop for journalists and media people, and interact with them, involve them in this process, and create a network, international network of professionals willing to share experience and best practice in this? And why not to create, with the help of other interest partners, a template to recognize excellence in this kind of projects at any level, so we can share excellence, and this would have. And why we should always talk and think of adults when the citizens of tomorrow are the kids of today. And so why not to have also a template course that maybe can be in cartoons, fun. Fun is healthy. And have, instead of always adults teaching kids, why don't we kickstart their creativity and ask them to create a and for the younger students, and see what happens, and share it across culture, religion, and stuff like that. Anyhow, in the Anthropocene era, I think that protecting and fostering human resources is tantamount, and education is a key ingredient. And we created the World University Consortium just to have everybody on board. And I hope you are on board and give some good idea, better than I could come up with. Thank you.